We have a lovely item for you here this morning. Yeah, we are in the centre of Dublin, and we're joined by Liz McGuire from the Flea Market Love Letters. Now, this is absolutely fascinating. We're looking at all these beautiful letters here in front of us from World War II. Good morning to you, Liz. How did this all start for you?
Well, good morning. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's
Day. Flea Market Love Letters started in 2017. I was collecting letters since I was a teenager, and in 2017 I did the only logical thing. I started putting them on Instagram, and people started saying, hey, I'd love to know what's in that envelope. And from there, we've shared over 500 letters, 22 individual series, and it's just great to be here talking to you today about my favorite thing.
And how far back do the letters go?
Oh, the oldest letter I have is from 1876.
1876, so it's not only a love letter, it's a piece of history.
It is, yeah. If you ever really need to know what it was like to run a farm, I have a lot of detail for you.
But it's fascinating, like, so where do you get them?
Of course. So before the pandemic, it was a lot of flea markets in the States. And sort of during lockdown, I adjusted to online auctions and things like that. A lot of them are gifted from family and friends as well.
But so can I ask you then, when you say flea markets then, does that mean that people are putting their letters, their love letters, selling and people are buying them?
Yeah. So it basically, you know, the way I think of it is that I'm the keeper of the letters. So if anybody ever got in touch and said, you know, that's my Nana's letters, what are they doing on Instagram? I would definitely talk to them about getting their letters back to them. But
yeah.
for the time being, I'm more than happy to be the keeper of them.
So over the years then, you must have read some really emotional and beautiful stuff.
Yeah, there was a World War II series that isn't this one, but it was a series I did a few years ago, and the gentleman actually ended up dying. But in his last letter that I have, he has his little photograph is cut into the picture as if it's a frame. His name was Jack, and kind of to have that photo, it's very rare you would find a photo with a letter still. So to have Jack's photo and to know it's his last letter was very powerful.
And these are World War II letters here. So these are the ones that you're talking about here this morning. And these are all like loved ones or guys at war sending their wives or their sweethearts letters from the front, basically.
Yeah, it's very tender. In the States, a lot of the sort of morale material at home was, you know, keep the guys at home, tell them about what you did this weekend and the films you saw and stuff like that. And mail call for a lot of the soldiers in World War I and World War II was oftentimes, you know, the highlight of their day. So it's great to have these here. And
have you seen it then over the years that is love just always been love and it's that you express it beautifully? Or have you seen the letters changing over the years?
So I would say that, you know, there's a lot of poetry in the letters, and I think that people are very sort of shy talking about it, but in the 1918 and 1920 to 1942 to 45, it's all very, I love you, I miss you. It's the earnestness is there. You can definitely see people are very passionate.
Yeah, it's fascinating, it really is. Is there any series, because obviously it's a series as well, you don't have just singular, the stories of maybe 20, 30 love letters that were sent over a period of time.
Yeah. The first series I ever shared were the Sandy and Harry letters, and that was a 1940s war bride in the UK sort of encouraging her American boyfriend to help her get over to New Jersey. She was like, hey, we said we were going to do this.
Oh, really? And was he not as keen?
Well, let's just say he wasn't great at the paperwork.
Okay.
There were a lot of letters that were like, the boat leaves on March 7th. Did you send that form? And then March 9th, she might be like, so I missed that boat, but there's one on the 12th.
No. Really?
She gets over eventually, and they got married. They had 2 daughters. And then the second set of that letters, which is why it's special, is she goes back to London in the 1950s for a summer. So she brings her daughters back and writes to her husband from there.
And you, like, the art of letter writing is something that has definitely died out.
Yep.
And does that make you sad?
It does, but I think that especially during the pandemic, a lot of people came back to the idea of sending letters. So I hope that, you know, now that things are opening up again and things are getting back to a state of that, we can still send birthday cards and letters and things
because
like that.
I mean, I remember Post gave us all cards that we just sent to people during the pandemic, just to say we want to stay in touch with you.
Yeah, and it's 5 minutes of someone's day, and it can absolutely turn, you know, someone's mood completely around.
And there is something special. I know a broadcaster here, Joe Duffy, he still sends beautifully handwritten cards to people if he's at a show or something like that. And I know I've received them, and it just is like, it's just so lovely.
Yeah, I just got back from Barcelona yesterday, and I sent out a big batch of postcards, and that was just so fun to kind of sit there and say, you know, sitting here in the Park Güell thinking of you.
Because remember, we used to always do that. People would go for a week's holidays, and they'd buy postcards, and they would write them all and send them to people. But now, because everyone just takes a picture and puts it up on social media, that's gone.
Yeah, no, I think there's definitely a marriage between social media and letter writing. I think it's an accessible way kind of to do emails and social media, but I'm always going to advocate for the handwritten letter.
And how many pen pals have you?
At the height of the lockdown, I had 88 pen pals.
88 pen pals. And did you keep in touch with them all?
Well, I sent 35 postcards yesterday, so yeah.
You sent, like, how much did that cost you then? Like over the year, postage?
Well,
do you get a discount from on post?
I couldn't possibly say no. But to be getting married in September, I have to say I've been buying a lot of stamps this year.
Oh, you're getting married in September?
I am, yeah.
Okay. And how did you meet your partner?
He's from the States as well, so we came over together, but he's very patient about my collections of lots of love letters.
I was going to say that. Do you write love letters? Do you write a letter to him? Would you write a love letter to him?
Well,
does he write a love letter to you?
I wish we did more, and I will be honest, this morning we were rushing out the door, and I said, do you want to do Valentine's cards? And he went, can we do them after work? And I said, yeah. So yeah, I wish we wrote more, but we try and exchange letters and things like that.
So if people want to find out more about this, because it's such a lovely idea when I heard about it, that you have like absolute snapshots of history that people can read. How can they get more information about it?
Oh, thank you so much. That's why I do it. They can find us on the website fleamarketloveletters.com or on Instagram, where I post snippets of the letters every day at Flea Market Love Letters Instagram.
It's so lovely. It's such a lovely idea. And thank you very much for bringing these in this morning and for joining us on Valentine's Day. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now back to studio. Guys, do you remember that you're going on holidays and you'd write the postcard and send them to people?